Hello and welcome. Today I am going to discuss about German philosophy. German philosophy is a school of thought that is originated in Germany and spread throughout the world. It is a philosophical movement that influenced millions of intellectuals, scholars and youngs around the world. This movement was part of German Renaissance, where we can see a positive effort to revive ancient Greek texts and also ancient Indian philosophy and try to explain it from the modern context. Now, this philosophical movement, the impact of this philosophical movement is so deep and intense, even today's philosophers, they cannot proceed without discussing this German philosophy. Now we should consider that what are the main features of German philosophy which makes it different from others. German philosophy, first, it is diverse, as it had discussed about different branches of philosophy from metaphysics to you can say from epistemology. It had also discussed about different theories from rationalism to materialism. Analytical. Why it is so? Because the just ended scientific revolution and its impact influenced the field of philosophy also. We have seen sharp effort to implement scientific methodology in each and every study, especially in philosophy. While they are discussing and explaining the natural phenomena, they have implied, or we have seen them to imply this scientific method in their theory. Third point, a very unique thing we have seen in German philosophy, that we have seen scientists and philosophers both are working together. We have seen that scientists at the end of their research or their study, they are explaining the phenomena in a philosophical way and they are addressing directly the metaphysical concept. Now, the notable philosophers of that time were Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, Immanuel Kant, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, Arthur Schopenhauer, Karl Marx, Friedrich Nietzsche, Martin Heidegger, Ludwig Wittgenstein, Soren Kierkegaard, and many other prominent figures. Before we proceed, we should know each and every century very minutely and we have to observe them. Look at the 17th century. Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, one of the most prominent figure of this time. He was a scientist and he is known for his theory on monads. Now, what is monadology? According to Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, monads are the ultimate element of universe. He defined them as substantial forms of beings. He again said that monads are eternal, indecomposable, individual, uninteracting, and each reflecting the universe in a pre-established harmony. 18th century. Two famous philosophers of this time were Christian Wolff and Immanuel Kant. This time we can see profound discussion on epistemology, new explanation of rationalism and idealism can be seen. Let's move on to 19th century. This is one of the most important centuries in German history. This time we can see the emergence of three important philosophers: Johann Gottlieb Fichte, Friedrich Wilhelm Joseph Schelling, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. This time we can see huge discussion on rationalism and materialism. Hegel's theory influenced millions of people and at the same time his theory influenced contemporary another philosopher Karl Marx. This time also we can see a trend to revive Kant's philosophy. The reason behind that, with the growing industrialization, people are getting more and more mechanical. But the problem is when the scientists are addressing some of the very important topics or important questions, especially time and space, here the practical experimentation cannot able to explain them properly. Are they substance or any metaphysical concept? Regarding this, there was a lot of confusion from the time of Immanuel Kant. Immanuel Kant, in his theory, we have seen that he had explained space and time as an a priori concept, where Newton and other scientists they believe space and time as substance. But here the problem is when this Karl Marx and Hegel they are explaining this materialism and they stated that whatever is visible, perceptible, that can be accepted, and beyond that, nothing is real. The problem and the question arose at that time. Arthur Schopenhauer, Jacob Friedrich Fries, Johann Friedrich Hubbard were the philosophers who raised the questions, and they stated that should we deny the metaphysical concepts, or is it unfair enough to deny all these concepts and go on researching on our own topic? So they felt the necessity to revive Kant's theory once again, and this movement is known as Neo-Kantianism. We have seen that they have proposed their new theories, which is very much popular nowadays, and obviously they gave this modern world, the young generation, a new way, a new option to consider. Some of the notable Neo-Kantian philosophers were Edward Geller, Hermann von Helmholtz, Kuno Fischer, Wilhelm Dilthey, African Spur, Hermann Cohen, Benno Erdmann. 20th century. This is supposed to be the worst century Germany ever had. The terrible consequences of the two world wars put Germany in a financial crisis. Despite that, it could not hinder the pursuit of knowledge. We can observe major four developments: beginning of analytic philosophy, formation of the Vienna Circle and Frankfurt School, development of continental philosophy, and new discussion on phenomenology and hermeneutics. Finally, I would like to add that till now we have read different theories from different school of thought, but here we saw a unique thing, that is the implementation and experimentation of theories in practical life, and that makes German philosophy unique in nature.